Hi guys, and welcome to episode 19 of the GUNGEON in the GUNGEON again. Thanks for all the likes, subscribes, and comments. If you continue to do that, and like I always say, to make an old man happy, and I doubt I'll ever be an internet sensation or YouTube sensation because I don't think I have that kind of talent. There's a lot more people out here better than I am that I've noticed, and this is what they like to do, and I like to do this just because it's just fun.
Oh yeah, it's fun. Absolutely,
it's fun, and it's just neat, and hopefully, we talk.
It's almost like a de-stressor in a way. It's changing up the usual routine.
Yeah,
working
because,
all the time, and
our darn job is so stressful that it's aggravating, and you just need to. It's like going to the range just to blow off some steam.
Yeah,
because of the whole week of all the bull that goes on, and everything that's going on today in today's world. It's kind of
traffic, just
traffic. Everything's terrible.
God,
nowadays,
terrible.
And the way our current administration and our current economy is, you got to just kind of melt, calm down some. And this is our way and my way. And like I said, I started these videos because I just wanted to, just relaxing and fun for me. Actually, my son got me into it. Alex got me into this, and love my boys to death.
I do watch his stuff. Again, has he posted something
recently?
No,
they've been taking a little bit of a break.
That's what I thought. I haven't seen anything from him for a while.
Yeah, they haven't done anything in a little while because they're taking a break. They're restructuring their whole what they're going to do and what they're going to talk about and everything.
Good.
Hell, we might even be a guest on their show every now and then.
That'd be pretty cool.
I'm an old guy, so they like to talk about all the young stuff that I really don't talk about.
I wouldn't even know a dang thing what they're talking about. As soon as it comes to sports, it's not that I don't like sports. It's just I just played so much of it in high school and all that. I'm tired of it.
It's not your thing. And I was big into it. That's the funny part. The fantasy, the league and stuff. All the stuff.
I don't
all
even
the
do
games.
that.
I had season tickets to the Lightning. I had season tickets everywhere. And it's kind of now to even and guys that don't think this is a little weird because it's not, but to get me to go to a sporting event now is just
it's difficult.
Yeah,
it's just it almost seems like this. No matter what you go to, it almost seems like it's the same damn thing every time.
Yeah, every time. I'm bored. I'm bored. I'm literally bored.
I feel like there's too many. For reasons they have rules and regulations. Too many rules and regulations. They don't allow those wild card games to happen anymore. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, and it's not fun.
No.
I don't get off on, and guys, I'm not talking about, we're not going to sit here and talk about sports.
No.
But we're just getting into a little bit of this real quick. I don't really care about, back in the day when I was watching football, and like I said, I'm old, of the days of Ray Nitschke where he had no front teeth and all that kind of stuff. That was football.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I can't see why if you're doing a kickoff, you're bringing it that far.
Man.
The 20-yard line? Come on, man. Give me a break. This is a little bit too much now.
I think we're just also in that era where all the the experience, the ones we've always watched that do that crazy stuff are all kind of going at the same time in this decade.
Yeah.
Or at least the start of this decade, and we're starting to get all these newbies where
things are just different.
Yeah, they're different.
And then there's so much with it.
Different generation. It's
just quarterbacks are free. You can't hit the quarterbacks now. It's kind of. When I played
ball
before a long time ago in football, my object was to hit the quarterback.
Absolutely.
To knock him out of the game if I could. You know what? I did that when I used to play.
Obviously, if you had the ball.
Yeah,
otherwise, then that's being dirty. But yeah.
I was dirty. Because when I played, how you play the league ball and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was dirty. I played inside linebacker. I was a beeline for that quarterback every single time. Beeline. And I could remember, I played for the Colts. It was funny as heck. That's the team I played for. My cousins played on the teams with me. And I was an inside linebacker. And my job, always, I didn't care about anybody else. I'm going after that quarterback. And in one game, it was funny as hell. I was a lot bigger guy now. I'm an old man, so I'm not as big as I used to be. But I took 2 out in one game. And they had to put in their third string quarterback because, that was, And then, of course, my coach took me out of the game because he said, Diaz, that's a little bit too much. Don't you think...
don't you think you need to settle down there?
Yeah, you need to settle down a little bit there. You're getting a little... Just like, I played hockey too, and I was a goon.
That's one thing I wish I got to play.
Well, my dad used to hate it, though, because they spent all this money on me playing hockey when I lived in Canada. Because my dad got transferred a lot, and everything else. But I got, he said, I paid so much money for your Bauer skates, for your sticks, for your bag, your gear, and all I did was end up in the penalty box every single time because of a cross check or something that I didn't like, or you got a goon on your team. Well, let's see who the goon is. you know. And I'm not saying that I'm a badass, because by far I'm not. And I'm older now, and anybody can probably take me now. But anyway, you know, at that time, you know, I was full of testosterone, full of umph and go, and all I wanted. You got
so much energy. You got to find a way to get rid of it.
All I want to do was hit. So, you know, he goes, spending all this money, where do you end up? In the penalty box every single time.
Just sit there and look at you. Yes, every time.
You know, and I was like, you know, two of my favorite players in hockey were Ty Domi and Bob Probert. And not a lot of people know these guys, but they were the goons back in the day. And as soon as the puck would drop, shirt came off. And they were just beating the crap out of each other. And that was my kind of...
That's entertainment.
Oh, that's entertainment.
That's entertainment.
You know, it was great, you know. And even in football, you know, my job, I always felt, there's two people I wanted every single time on defense. I wanted the quarterback, and then I wanted the running back. That was my favorite. And to give you a hit, I remember playing with a broken arm one time, and I had a cast. And back in the day, you were allowed to play as long as you put, did that come to fruition? I had fun with that. A little, when they're on the ground, you know, kind of little things like that. But, yeah, I was a little mean, so, you know. Now I learned that, you know, I got to be more untemperamental, let's put it that way.
Yeah,
but
people are a little bit of too soft.
Yeah, and I wasn't. But anyway, guys, we're going to talk today about something. Really, we're going to get on the topic of firearms, but not really.
Yeah.
We're going to talk a little bit about why I got into firearms, why Austin got into firearms, and maybe throw a little bit of safety in there.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm going to start off by saying I got into firearms because of the dynamics of them, actually. You know, the striker fires, you have the gas, you got all kinds of different systems. And I got into the different calibers and, you know, how cool they look and the history behind them all. Yeah. You know, and especially the revolvers. As you see, I'm a big revolver fan. And guys, semi-automatics, I love them too. Yes. But for some reason, I'm a big revolver fan.
The old stuff.
Yeah, a big lever action fan, a big bolt action fan. Always been like that since I was young. Guess it's because I come from a military family. So I don't know, but that's just, I've always been in it. I've always thought that they were just cool. But, you know, I got into this because I think, you know, like I said, it's a passion and it's just something that's fun.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's so many manufacturers today coming out with all kinds of different types of firearms, you know, for the everyday person, for the concealed carry, whether it be micros, whether it be, you know, full size, pocket guns. You know, you've got so many coming out today that everything is just so cool. And then, you know, what's really come across has been the 22 LR series of rifles, the new stuff that's coming out. A lot of them look like, you know, AR-12s, AR-15s, you know, and different things like that. That some of these guns are just really cool looking, you know.
Yeah, they're pretty cool, yeah.
You know, so this is why I got into it. And it's just, it's a hobby for me. It's something, you know, that I'm passionate about. And, you know, I think nobody really got me into it. You know, it was just one day, you know, a long time ago. Well, I mean, I was hunting since I was hunting as I was a kid. Then I quit hunting for about, 20 years maybe, and haven't hunted since. But I was avid back in the day, a long time ago, with a couple of buddies and friends, and, you know, that I used to have. We used to go a lot, you know, every hunting season. And then I just kind of got out of it. You know, I had the boys. And, you know, I had to spend time with them in sports and stuff like that, you know, and doing things. And then cars, of course. I like classic cars, which you know I do because I have one.
Yes, but, I love that. I love
I
the sound of it.
Yeah, I kind of got into that for a while, you know, and then I got into the NASCAR thing because of my dad, you know, and stuff like that, and racing and everything. But, you know, I've always had a passion for guns. And it's just really cool. But, you know, I'm more into the older style guns, which a lot of people aren't. You know, the military surplus guns are some of my favorite ones.
Yes.
You know, the old police edition guns, the old Colts like we had on our one of our
little
videos.
32, yeah.
Yeah, you know, and everything like that. You know, the history of firearms has always been pretty interesting to me. The Western type of firearms too, with the history, and that's kind of, I think, why I got into firearms, is because, you know, I'm not a professional by all means. You know, I'm not a gun smith. I don't you know, I don't claim to be any kind of, you know, awesome shooter. I don't claim any of that.
No.
You know,
Me neither.
I just kind of I had fun. That's what it's all about.
That's the point. Yeah, to enjoy yourself, to enjoy the actual material part of it, the guns and all that. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not all about, man, I got to hit them all in a grouping, or you know, I'm in a competition shoot. Or,
now, yeah, if you're a competition shooter and all that, that's what you're going for. That's also
a great thing.
A great thing,
you know?
Absolutely.
And I've seen a lot of competition shooters, you know, out there, and you know, use 22s as competition shooting, and a lot of them are really, really good shooters, and it's a lot interesting to watch. You know, if you guys get a chance, look up, you know, stuff on YouTube. You're going to see a lot of professional shooters that are great out there. You're going to see a lot of videos do like, you know, like we're doing, and these guys are a lot better than me. I'll be honest, you know. Classic Firearms is one of them. Clint and those guys, they're great. Hickok 45, he's a great gentleman to listen to. I kind of look up to these guys.
Demolition Ranch.
Yeah, you
all
know,
of them.
I look
big
up
guys.
to these guys because they know their firearms. They research things, you know, and they have a passion. You know what I mean? And you know, getting firearms from Bud's Guns and a couple of other different places.
And they'll mention them every time too. Whenever they do, if they do, yeah,
they mention things, and they'll mention to you about different kind of ammos that they choose to
whatever they have problems in certain stuff.
Right,
they'll give you the information you need.
That you need, and they're honest group of guys, and they'll tell you what's bad and what's not bad. You know, and they kind of explain it all to you. In which those two I really look at, and your other one that you look at, and you know, there's a couple other guys, Pew Pew Tactical, I've looked at before.
And Demolition Ranch has over a 10 million subscriber channel I watch. That's why.
Demolition Ranch, I've watched them some too, and I mean, you just can't go. These guys are very informative, you know, a lot more informative than I am, and maybe he is, and you know, but like
he's a little informative, not informative as Clint and Hickok, but yeah, just a fun group,
yeah, you know, and these guys are just fun to look at. So guys, if you get a chance, you know, look at them too, you know, and their content's great, you know, it's wonderful, you know, and I am a big supporter of Grunt style guys. You'll always see me wear, like I am, their hat. I have their shirt on right now. You know, I'm surrounded by snowflakes. It might not be a very proper shirt to have, but you know, you know me. I am improper when it comes to shirts. You know what the sayings of my shirts are, and
I would agree with that though. I mean,
yeah,
there's too many gentle or sensitive people.
Sensitive people, you know, and I'm not one of those type of sensitive fellas. You know, by far. You know, it's kind of like I had to be for the first time in my life, in a very long time this week. I had to be more sensitive.
We're one of those people that wake up in the morning and say, "Hey, jackass."
Exactly. You know, we do those things. You know, we'll wake up in the morning, fart, do everything else. Doesn't really matter. You know, that's just part of the way we are. We're every day, 40-hour work week, blue collar workers. We're nothing special. You know, hopefully, maybe sometime or another, we might be a little special, depending upon our subscribers and our views, and if people.
I think we can get up there.
Or you know, if a sponsor picks us up, you know, that would be a wonderful too. But you know, we'll see. But anyway, getting back to, like I said, you know, the reason I got into this too is I love firearms, you know, and I just don't only love guns. I have my knife collection. I love knives too. I have a crossbow over there. I love crossbows. Anything to do with firearms, knives, weapons. Military surplus stuff, you know, like I have my military surplus stuff up here too, that, you know, my memorabilia that I have.
Yes. Anything
to do with any of that kind of stuff, I love, you know, and the biggest thing is my Second Amendment right. I wholeheartedly believe in my Second Amendment right, and I always will. You know, I'm an American. I will always be an American. Yeah, I'm Italian and Spanish too, but as far as where I'm from, I'm American. And that's it. And I will always defend
realistically, an American, at least nowadays, is just a mutt. Pretty much. You know, a mix of everything.
And one of my sayings, guys, that I do have in here, that you probably have seen before: stand for the flag, kneel for the cross. I believe in that wholeheartedly. You know, and I'm just an all-around American fella who likes firearms and is going to continue getting into firearms and continue, you know, doing these videos maybe to help you learn some stuff and maybe see some cool stuff. And you know, I got a cool knife out right now that I put up, and Austin said the same thing. It's kind of like, you've probably never seen this before. That's actually stainless steel. Yeah. It's not light. It's very heavy.
I could already tell it was very heavy.
Yeah, you know, and it was custom made, and I picked it up at an estate sale one time, and I actually came across it, and I just thought I had to have it because it just looked cool. You know, I've never seen it, and it is heavy. Is it used? Can it be used for anything? Oh, I'm sure I can do some
I'm sure,
serious damage.
Yeah, absolutely.
If I have to, but it's for show.
Yeah.
It's for show, kind of like all my other ones are. I got a lot of, I got some duty knives in there, some military knives in there too, but, it's for show. And I thought I'd put it out because I like to always show something interesting to people on my channel. But anyway, wrapping it up for me, this is why I got into firearms. Now we're going to talk to Austin a little bit and see why he likes firearms. So go ahead.
The reason why I like firearms is mainly what my family got me into it. Basically, my dad, when he was still around at the time, we used to go to this event called Camperama, and it used to be just this backyard. You show up your camper/tent, a whole 2-week thing they used to do. And the only way you got invited is if someone mentioned it to you in the store and said, "Hey, here's the address. You're invited." And we used to have up to 100 people show up onto this property. And the owner, Buddy, bless his heart, sadly he passed away from I think a type 2 diabetes, I think.
Which I have, which isn't a good thing.
No, he got, it just went out of control. I caught it too late.
Yeah.
And but anyways, used to do this event, and there used to be chili cooking contest, all this in the morning campfire where they cook breakfast on the whole giant campfire across this whole cast iron grate. And I'm telling you, it's the best food I ever had. But they used to have claybird shooting there, and it intrigued me. I was around 6 years old, and I've always been interested in guns before that, but I really got into it when I seen that, and I asked my dad, can I try that? And sure enough, they let me try, and as soon as I did my first 5 shots, I was hooked into guns and how they worked, and how, shocking at the time, being that young, you don't really fully understand how it works, how that hits that, or how you're able to correlate that. And so it just kicked off from there. I mean, how to explain it?
Well, you kind of just, like me, it was like you were saying, what you shot when you were younger. Me, it was a Daisy was my first actual little
BB gun?
A BB gun.
Yeah,
I love my
absolutely.
Daisy.
I had a BB gun right around then. Yeah,
yeah, I love my little Daisy. It was fun. I was shooting everything I could shoot. I was shooting. My dad even got mad one time because he goes, a little bit too much here with the shooting. You're shooting at every little thing you can shoot at. And I kind of put little holes in windows before too.
I kind of did that by
a car.
Yeah.
I yelled at for that a few times, but I was always into that. And then what else I got into one time, and what really made me? I had a relative of mine that had a Mini 14, which I had, and he brought it to show my grandfather, and actually fired it into the ground, and I was there. And do you know that I am getting ready to be 58 years old here soon? No, or am I 58 years old? Hell, I don't even know what. I think I'm 58 years old already. I might be 59. I don't know, something like that. Well, anyway, he brought it, shot it, and ever since then, I went, holy shit. I gotta have one of those.
Absolutely.
And it took me till this age today to finally get mine. You know what I'm saying? This age, that many years to finally. I must have been 14, I think it was then. My uncle was a Navy SEAL, so I kind of was able to see a lot of
some of the special stuff.
Yeah, some of the special stuff. Yeah. Especially a Bowie knife. Oh yeah, that's
actually genuine Bowie.
That genuine. That was. And
man.
It was funny because he bought me my little. When I was younger, he had bought me a little Navy outfit. I had like the Navy would wear. They had the black with the white.
Oh yeah.
He got me one and made for me, and I actually dressed that up when I was a little kid. It was really cool. Yeah, I was little. I was probably maybe 7. I think it was 6 or 7. And he bought one for me. He came back from where he was at, and he brought. I can't say guys because at that time the Navy SEALs were considered frogmen at that time, not actually Navy SEALs, but they did underwater demolitions, and I can't really get into too much of it. But he brought one of those little outfits. He had it made for me, and I took pictures with him in it, and it was actually pretty good, and that's what made me a love for this too. And then my grandfather being at Pearl Harbor and everything, that was kind of another little push. And then I had another cousin who was a commander of a helicopter squadron in the Navy, and he had brought in some things for me too, and you know, so it's kind of like I've always been around the firearm industry, you know,
yeah,
and dabbled
kind
into
of the same,
certain,
yeah,
you know, like you did, and dabbled into certain things, and you know, my dad, of course, you know, I went hunting with him sometimes too, and you know, it was pretty interesting back in the day too, and just I've always been around firearms and always had a fascination, but it got worse. It got worse, where it really hit me hard, probably about 10 years ago, is when I really got more, I don't want to say an obsession. Well, I guess I should say obsession.
That's something I got to mention how I got it. The other part of how I got into.
Well,
I'll let you finish though.
At least guys at work say that it's more of an obsession, but
it's a hobby. It's an art. It's like we're saying, it's a passion. Absolutely, it's like cars. It's like anything. Like painting. It's
and I just can't
applied differently.
Right, you know, and I can't just. I'm not the everyday guys. I'm not the everyday handyman. That's what I have my wife for. She's the handyman in the household here. It's not me. I'm the brawn. She's the handyman. She's got all the great ideas. Comes up with the great stuff. If I tell her to build something, she builds it. She's got the she shed, and she's got. It's not craftsman toolbox. She's got the craftswoman toolbox. Is how she calls it. But that's her thing. She does that, and like I said before, real quick, I want to.
Oh yeah, do your thing.
She is the backbone behind this. She does all of our thumbnails, all of our editing, takes care of all that kind of stuff for us here because I'm illiterate on computers, but and I got to thank Alex for getting me all set up with what he did.
Yes.
You know, my son, he's great for that, and thank my other son too for the support too. But you know, not having her there as the support and the backbone in this, you know, I really don't think this would be possible for me to even do right now because I was very nervous about doing it in the beginning, and now I'm more comfortable doing it, and I think people have seen that because they've told me. But you know, if it wasn't for all that, I think, you know, it wouldn't be possible for me to do any of this. But this is why I was into it. But go ahead, continue what you were saying about yours.
I don't know if you've ever been to a Cabellas when Cabellas was Cabellas.
Yes, I have. One time.
One of the actual big ones.
Yes, one time.
Up in Pennsylvania where I used to live, where I got into it. It was shortly after I got kind of into that camperama and started to really get into guns and really interested. So when my dad took me to Cabellas, the Hamburg Cabellas, Hamburg, PA, and I fell in love as soon as I walked into that store. I felt like I was, how to say it?
You're in heaven.
In heaven, yeah. And as soon as I got back to that gun library in the back, the special gun section where they had like the $50,000 gold engraved double barrel rifles and 500 Nitro Express and stuff like that, that's when I fell in love with guns. That's what really got me obsessed with it. Yeah, I just seen the artwork with it, the details, and it's still being able to do what you needed to do. Well, it's very pretty. I wish I had some of the photos before then, but obviously at that time I didn't have a phone and all that for obvious reasons. But I missed that place. It was a 2-story one.
Wow. See, I haven't been to a 2-story one.
It was a 2-story one. In the center, they had a mountain with all the trophies that people had donated to them, the taxidermized the trophies. And all across this mountain, they had different animals set up. Sorry if I bumped the mic, by the way. Different animals set up on it, up different stages, different environments. Like even they had lions there. Elk, mountain goats up at the top, rams, nice. Bighorn rams. They even had down below it, where the water ran down and it cycled, all this fish with bridges that went over inside the store, like a wide off and around.
God, that's cool. See, I just went only to just a 1-story one.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like Bass Pro Shops is.
Yeah.
And Bass Pro Shops is actually really.
No, they're good. Yeah.
They're good. It's just, you know.
There's
certain places that we go to that.
They got clothes.
Oh, they got great clothes. The clothes are phenomenal. It's just, you know, certain places we go to. Matter of fact, my crossbow got bought there at Bass Pro Shops.
Okay.
It was bought as a Christmas gift. My wife bought it for me. Alex had bought one, and I wanted one. Why? I have no idea, because I only shot it one time, and that was it. But
I'm not real big into archery. I'm gonna be honest.
You know what? I'm not. And I talked to a guy the other day that bow hunts, and we were discussing about bow hunting. Matter of fact, he's my roofer, that did the roof on my house, and he does really. His name is Keith Tyler. Keith Tyler Roofing. Shout out to him because guys, he does a great roofing job. He's wonderful guy, just friendly as can be, and great guy. And we were talking about it. He bow hunts, and that's all he uses most of the time. He bow hunts, and he's really good. Just shot himself an 8-pointer, I think it was.
An 8-pointer with the bow. How far away? Bow. Did he tell you?
Oh, he didn't tell me. I forgot.
I know people that made 40, 50-yard shots with bows, which is difficult, but
his son uses a crossbow, same one that I have there.
Okay.
And hit a 6-pointer with it, and the trajectory on those crossbows are, dude, those
flat as
arrows,
can be.
Oh God, man,
they're booking it.
They are, and that came with the scope on it and everything when I bought it. So I had to sight that scope in a little bit.
What pound is that?
You want to hear something funny? I have no damn idea. All I did, you know what I did? I took it out of the box and I got it for Christmas. Went to the backyard. Decided to shoot it, and when I did, I set up some styrofoam thinking that it would stop it. No, not a very good job.
No.
It went through the styrofoam.
Yeah.
Through my privacy fence, my wood privacy fence, across the street into my sister-in-law's privacy fence.
That's when you're over there.
Yeah, that's when I was living in the other house.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh shit. That was my words. Oh shit.
That's the day you set it down. I was like, that's staying in the corner.
Literally, I sat it down after that one fire, and I have not picked it up since. And so, how many poundage it is, I have no idea.
It's probably,
guys,
it's got to be somewhere 70 to 100 pounders.
Probably, but
I
have no idea, guys, about it. They bought it for me for Christmas because my son bought one, and he went with those guys that work with Blake and Brock and all those guys to go hunting with them. And so, well, of course, Dad had to have one too, and it was bought for me. So actually, guys, I know nothing about it, and I'm truthful, but I'll find information out about it if I decide to shoot it. But you'll see what it looks like later on because it is pretty cool looking. Came with a scope when I bought it, but I know nothing about this damn thing. All I know is one thing about bow hunting, and I might be stupid, but I had a guy tell me one time, close one eye, put your thumb up. If you've got your thumb on something and it covers it, that means that's the side you need to shoot from. If you go this way and your thumb is moves over, that's not the way you want. That's not the one you want.
Let you find out your dominant eye, so you can correctly have the right firearm or the right firearm setup, the stock setup. Yeah.
Right. So kind of, I knew. Other than that, I am not a bow hunter by far.
Here's the thing, guys. You can be right-handed, but also left eye dominant. That's the thing. My mother is.
True.
Actually, so sometimes you can actually train yourself to be left-hand shooting if you want to, left-hand dominant, or train yourself to be ambidextrous, at least to be able to do both.
I can hit a baseball ambidextrous.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can. Yep.
I've done ambidextrous. I'm a little rusty with my left side, but I can do ambidextrous.
I don't call it ambidextrous. I just call it switch. I mean, I'm a switch hitter. I can switch each side. Go to the left, go to the right. It really doesn't matter. I was taught that a long time ago. I went to a hitting camp with Johnny Bench and Pete Rose. Long time ago. I'm talking long time ago. And I learned how to switch it. So it was actually pretty neat little ice cream. Guys, not getting off subject, but that's just what. Yeah. Speaking about with the bows, we're talking about that. But so that's all you got to say. How you got into it then? That's
pretty. Cabellas sealed it for me.
Cabellas
sealed it for me. And then I got to play their games on the PlayStation 2 at that time. Also, when they made good games.
I tell you what.
With Activision, I think, which is the people of Call of Duty.
Yeah, and that's a big thing nowadays. Call of Duty. I think Alex learned half of the. No, I don't want to say that, but he's learned a lot about different firearms due to the fact that they got the Galil on there and everything else.
Though the way they have certain stuff mounting on there, like.
I don't like playing.
Do I really? Yeah, I do. I don't mind playing it. I'm more of a campaign person, like the main story. That's what really ties me into the games. But
Not me. I'm into, I play it, and I play just for the bots. That's it. And it's like Alex told me, we were talking about it a couple of weeks ago, I think. I said, hey, I want a PS5. He goes, for what, Dad? What do you want a PS5 for? All you want to do is play bots. For that, you can use what you got right now. I have an Xbox, the old Xbox 360, I think.
You still have the 360?
Damn right.
It's about 3 generations behind now.
I got that thing. And I got.
Hey, they're good.
I think I got the Xbox Slim, too. Whatever the hell that was.
Oh, the Slim. I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
I got that, too. And, I can't keep up with any of these dudes.
The one game I'm stuck on is War Thunder.
I don't like any of it. I can't keep up with anybody. That's why if I play bots, at least I know what I'm doing. I can camp and hide somewhere.
Yeah.
And then when they come around, I just blow them away. But, as far as playing against somebody, I get my butt kicked every single time. And then, the worst part about this whole situation is to play against my son and his friends. They are such the worst nightmares because, folks, I don't know if you ever heard of teabagging, but they will turn around and they know where they call this spawning. They know where I'm spawning at, and then they shoot me, and then they teabag me. So I don't want to say it graphically, but if you know what it's all about, young people or older people who play the game a lot, you'll know what teabagging is. And then they run circles around me because my sensitivity level is set at 4, and theirs is up at 10 or higher, or whatever
262.
Yeah, where this little dude, this old man, does not know how to swing around that fast to be able to shoot things that quick. I mean, I'm getting too old here. My vision's kind of... Being diabetic and all my vision's kind of getting all screwed up, so I'm not as good as what they all are, and they play this thing constantly, where they have these, especially when the new ones come out, they all sit there and play for these 24 hours on these damn games.
Oh,
and
I used to do that with War Thunder too, but that's like, it's a little bit, it's really different than what they play. War Thunder is like armored vehicle, aircraft, and naval kind of stuff, like with the battleships. And I have to show you a couple videos of it. I have a couple of clips of it to show you what it's kind of like.
I'm just not into it.
They actually do model like the crews inside the tank, all the modules. Each module can be destroyed. And,
I just can't do it. I don't know why. It's just, for me, it's not something that I can actually enjoy. I get more pissed off than anything else. And I just can't enjoy it to where...
Yeah, I can understand that. And you can do bots in that game, too, War Thunder.
See, that's what I'm saying. Bots. Yeah, at least I know I can camp somewhere, and then when they come around the corner, I can shoot the shit out of them. That, I think, is funny. I think, and it's like Alex used to say, he used to come up and say, Dad, the only reason you're getting as high as you're getting, or do they call it KD or whatever the hell they call that
KD,
shit?
kill to death ratio.
Yeah, he goes, the only reason you're getting that kind of shit is because you're camping out over here, and as soon as they come through the door, you're blowing them away. And I went, well, hey.
That's a method.
That's my method. I said, least likely path of resistance, right there.
Hey, he's adapting with what he's got. All right?
Exactly. Seek, adapt, overcome. That's what I do. I seek, adapt, overcome. And you know what? If it works for me, it works for me. And you know what? I like it. I think it's fun. And other than that, though, I don't play it because it's just not my cup of tea.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm more into watching, YouTube videos on certain things and getting more educated on certain things, and learning, a big learning for me. I love to learn about different firearms if I can, and different knives and stuff. I watch a lot of different things on it, and I'm a hands-on type of guy. It's like a lot of people order firearms online and stuff like that, and they get them shipped in. I think that's a great thing.
Yeah,
I really do. Because we've got a lot of gun broker, a lot of different ones out there that are great.
Yeah.
But I myself, I want to feel and touch the gun before I buy it.
Yeah, be able to look at it, and you might be able to catch something that they didn't.
Right.
That might be wrong with it. Yeah.
And a little quick, we're going to talk a little second about safety.
Yes.
Go ahead. You were going to discuss that.
Yeah. Training wise, now, training, in my opinion, is important. So training with your weapon, knowing how to react to a situation is very important. Because there's been a few examples I've seen, even with the police departments not hitting on them. They do fantastic jobs, the ones that actually do take it very seriously. At least I think some might not. Being able to react to a situation correctly can be the difference between someone dying and someone living. So a good example is, for some officers, usually if they're going to a possible call, like someone might be trying to commit suicide, and you know they might have a weapon. If anyone's, by the way, sensitive with suicide, I suggest you probably click off the video now. It's going to go into a little bit of detail of it, maybe some graphic details to you. You've been forewarned. So, for a good example, I just watched I guess what they call them, the police, when they release body cam footage.
Body cam footage.
Yeah, it's just body cam footage of a couple officers that did stop or go to a call about a mother who was just going to transition from the hospital to her home after being in kind of that weird area of mental disability, instability. Mm-hmm. And she was the one that called, said she was going to hurt herself, or at least the line that she's connected to, I forget what they're called.
Suicide hotline.
Yeah, suicide hotline. She was trying to get help, but also she was in that phase where she was going. They showed up there 200 feet away. They observed the situation, see what the area it is, ways that, possibly she could be at, and they actually spotted her, I believe, at her front door, and they approached her. Of course, when they got to about 50 feet away, they noticed she had a 9-inch chef's knife in her hand, just like this, and she started walking towards the male officer, and there's a female officer with him, and he immediately told her, "You go non-lethal. Non-lethal. You go non-lethal, I'm lethal." Standard procedure, so you can have at least the option to get a different angle to possibly save her life if she was the charge. So the female officer went off the side. Usually at that point you'd pull out your taser or whatever you have for non-lethal. She did not. She just kind of stood there off the sidewalk. She had perfect angle. She had perfect perpendicular angle. She was out of line of fire with the male officer, and the woman was actually starting to really approach the male officer. And the guy yelled, "Get your damn taser out," or taser, whoever her name was. And she actually ended up running, and he ended up having to shoot her, and she ended up dying. And the female officer still didn't even have her taser out until she pretty much was on the ground. So, then again, this is a police, incident. You might be wondering, what does this have to do with civilians? Training. Having the right training allows you to react the way you're supposed to. Now, if you have the wrong training, it can actually get in more trouble, because then you reacted the wrong way. Instead of de-escalating the situation, you escalated it into a non-lethal or a lethal situation. Yeah, a lethal situation. So I'm saying, practice with your firearms. Also, it is I think a requirement. You should be very familiar with your firearm, how it reacts, how you can react in situations. Go into classes to understand how to react properly within law in those situations as a civilian. So,
you know what, and that's true, because one of the great sources that you do have is the USCCA, United States Concealed Carry Association. They're a very good organization to belong to. I belong to them. They put out a lot of training videos, all the time, on instances, and they'll give you certain situations, and they do a lot of really good work, I feel, as far as training is concerned, and they put out a lot of great content. There's a lot of great content out there for you to look at. Yeah. As far as training is concerned.
Oh yeah, there's even police departments that even release it, or
on how to act certain and how to de-escalate situations.
Yes.
And, your first thing you need to try to do is de-escalate a situation.
Yeah, which doesn't mean pulling out your gun immediately. No. As soon as you pull out your gun, you presented them with a threat. With a threat, so they can actually legally react to you and kill you.
Right. Exactly.
And within justified reason.
Right. Now, there's a lot of ways to de-escalate situations, and you just got to learn. And this comes with, like you say, training. Watching, being familiar with your firearm.
Yes, the proper training at that. It can't be just any training.
Being, really confident with yourself and confident with your firearm is a big thing too.
Yes.
I think that, a lot of people need to get familiar with, instead of just going out and purchasing a firearm and not even, what I mean? You're purchasing it because you feel, I gotta get it. Or, I've seen a lot of people purchase firearms just because right away, boom, everyone wants a 9mm semi-automatic. Yet when they get it, they find out that they can't hardly even operate the thing or operate the slide,
it's a piece of junk, or
eject the magazine right or something to that nature. And like I told you, I told you what had happened when I was at Rulekin, what I saw with proper gun etiquette.
That's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring it up, is having that knowledge, that safety.
The knowledge, and know what you're buying first, and know all about that firearm, and then go to the range, practice. Maybe take a couple of classes if you can, guys, because there's a lot of ranges that offer classes for you, as far as...
Heck, if you ever wanted to, go to your local police or / sheriff's department and ask them.
Yeah.
Ask them if you can, sit down with somebody and possibly who's an expert in it and explain it to you if they have the time.
Right, and they do, a lot of them do have teaching, classes that they'll
they might even give you a thing for a class, and instead of having to pay for it, you came up to them and made the initiative, they might even let you in for free.
Right, because I know a
lot of times they do it for free anyways.
A couple of our local gun stores, they offer training classes and self-defense classes and all that kind of stuff, which is good for anyone to take, because when you go to pull your firearm, you're only pulling it for one reason only.
Only one reason only.
And either your fear of your life being in danger right at that point in time, or there's a threat against you.
You have to be 100% sure,
right, before you even decide to pull
that someone, yourself, or potentially somebody like their self might be able to do harm.
Right. And I think that will
be able to.
With all that proper education, I think if some of the times we won't have some of the situations we have, and like I said, your first thing is always possibly, if it's possible, in which it's not always possible, de-escalate a situation. Excuse me. But the reason why you want to get familiar with your firearm, guys, is because in a panicky, in a situation, we tend to panic.
Yes.
And
just freeze up.
Firearms people, that own firearms now, that just purchased them, you get panicky, and then, like I had said in an episode before, you just pull that out and you're shooting all over the place, and you're hitting.
You might hit a pedestrian or someone that didn't even deserve it.
Yeah, or a child or a mom or some, and that's
what I'm saying. Train with your weapon.
Right. Train a lot with your weapon.
Yes.
Just not a little bit.
A lot.
Extremely comfortable.
Let's put it this way: if you're getting shakes every time you go to the range from the first few rounds, from being adrenaline and everything, it's all right. But you shouldn't be having that.
No.
Because you're going to have that as soon. You're going to be a lot worse than you're going to be shaking all over the place. You ain't going to be stable.
And you know what? If you can, and I know indoor gun ranges are great, but if you can, try to go to an outdoor range. And the reason why I say this is because indoor ranges, you got people in there firing off some really big stuff, and it can cause somebody to jump. I've seen it in there before. I've seen it happen, guys. I've seen, my son bringing in some big stuff before into a range,
or even me bringing like my 44 Magnum. Those are
you're bringing in these big things, and it causes some people to jump.
It makes them very and unsettled.
Even with your muffs on and your earplugs in and everything else, it's still kind of it'll make you jump a little bit if you're not used to it. So you're gonna have to get yourself used to all these noises and sounds and everything, and get yourself familiar with your firearm.
Yes,
and really take your time when you purchase one. And guys, don't purchase it for your wives. Let your wife come with you. Let her feel it.
See if she can actually pull back the slide herself and all that. That's another thing. Breaking in the gun too. It helps a lot too.
And another thing too that I don't always recommend it, but if you do have and people might not like what I'm getting ready to say, but if you do have a child in the house who's maybe 15 or 16 years old, and there becomes a situation where you have a situation happen, make sure that they're familiar with where your firearm's at, and the safety of your firearm, and how to properly use your firearm, because it might be up to them one of these days to have to be able to save a life, or what have you. So,
they could be the difference if you had to go out for a few minutes and come back.
Right. So you kind of want to just keep yourself, familiar with everything, and learn, and hopefully learn by these videos that we do and some of these training videos. And like I said, we're going to get off topic like we did a little bit today, where we talked about our own personal likes, but, and then we got into a little bit of training. Hi guys, sorry for the ending of this video. We had a power outage, and it's lasted about 2 hours, so Austin had to leave and he couldn't stick around. But I'd like to say thanks for all the likes, subscriptions that you gave me, and comments to the channel. If you continue to do that and make an old man, like I said, always happy, that would be great. Until next time, from the Gungeon, in the Gungeon, happy holidays. Peace out.